I'm Dr. Maya Sterling, a therapist who has listened to more confessions than I can count. Stories of passion, heartbreak, and betrayal. Each week, I share one of these stories with you not to judge but to uncover the lessons hidden within them. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way you'll never miss the truths that people often wish they could bury forever. Now, let me introduce you to Daniel. When Daniel first walked into my office, he didn't look like a man in his early 30s. He looked older, weighed down. His eyes were empty, his posture slouched, and the first words he said to me were, "7 years, Dr. Maya. 7 years." And it all ended in one night. Daniel should have been on his honeymoon when we met. Instead, he was sitting across from me in my therapy room, trying to understand how the woman he loved, the woman he was supposed to marry, had betrayed him just hours before their wedding. Daniel's hands were trembling as he spoke, but his voice carried a strange calm, like someone who had cried so much that no more tears could come. "We met in college," he began. "She was in my economics class and I was the shy guy who always sat in the back. But she noticed me anyway. Emma. She noticed me." As he spoke her name, his lips trembled. It was the kind of trembling that came from love mixed with pain. He leaned forward. "Dear Maya, we were together for 7 years. 7. That's not just a relationship. That's a lifetime. She saw me broke, stressed, working 3 part-time jobs just to stay afloat. And she never once complained. She used to say, 'Daniel, money comes and goes. What matters is we're building this life together.' I believed her. God, I believed her." I let him sit in the silence for a moment. Sometimes silence is louder than words. "She wasn't just my girlfriend," Daniel continued. "She was my partner. My anchor. Every birthday, every holiday, every family gathering, Emma was there. We grew up together. Everyone thought we were soulmates. And I did too." He rubbed his eyes and looked at me. "Do you know what hurts the most, Dr. Maya? I wasn't planning my wedding to some casual girlfriend. I was marrying the woman I thought I knew better than anyone in this world." I asked him gently, "And during those 7 years, Daniel, did you ever see signs? Any red flags?" He shook his head immediately. "None. She laughed at my stupid jokes. She sat with me during my lowest moments. She told me over and over again that she couldn't wait to be my wife. There were signs I missed them. Or maybe I didn't want to see them." He let out a bitter laugh. "I thought she loved me for me. Turns out she was just waiting for someone with a bigger paycheck." Daniel's eyes softened when he started talking about the wedding. For a moment I saw the love he still carried, even beneath the layers of pain. "Planning that wedding, it was like building our dream piece by piece," he told me. "We didn't have a lot of money, but we made it work. We found this little venue just outside the city, a garden with fairy lights strung up in the trees. Emma said it looked like something out of a movie." He paused, his lips tightening. "She was so excited. Or at least, she acted like she was." I tilted my head slightly. "Tell me more about that, Daniel. What did her excitement look like to you?" He gave a hollow chuckle. "She would drag me into shops to look at dresses, flowers, decorations. She'd stay up late scrolling through wedding ideas online. She cried when she picked out her dress, said she never thought she'd find something so perfect. And I believed it, Dr. Maya. I believed every tear, every smile." He clasped his hands together tightly. "Our families were just as invested. My parents loved her. They said she was everything they hoped I'd find in a wife. Her family, they seemed happy too. At least that's what I thought at the time." Daniel's face darkened. "We spent months saving, budgeting, compromising. I worked overtime shifts, skipped out on nights with friends, just to make sure everything would be ready. I didn't care about the money. I wanted Emma to have the wedding she dreamed of." His voice cracked. "And the truth is I was excited too. I wanted to stand there in front of everyone we loved and promise her forever. I thought after 7 years we had earned that moment." I asked softly, "And did you ever have doubts, Daniel? Cold feet?" He shook his head. "Never. Not once. If anything, I felt proud. Proud that we had lasted, proud that I could finally give her the life she deserved. I wasn't the richest man in the world, but I thought my love was enough. I thought we were enough." He leaned back in his chair, eyes staring into a distance I couldn't see. The day before the wedding, everyone was arriving. Friends flew in, family booked hotels. My mom cried when she hugged me, told me how lucky I was. And I believed her. I went to bed that night thinking tomorrow would be the best day of my life. His jaw tightened. But I didn't know that Emma was already planning to destroy it all. Daniel's tone shifted when he spoke about that final night. His voice grew quieter, heavier, as though replaying those hours still haunted him. It was the night before the wedding, he said slowly. Everyone was excited. My best man Jason came over to the house to go over last-minute details. We were laughing, drinking a couple of beers, talking about how tomorrow everything would change. His face twisted in pain. But then Jason got quiet. Real quiet. He kept fidgeting with his phone, avoiding my eyes. I asked him what was wrong, but he just shook his head. Said it was nothing. But I could tell. Something was eating at him. I asked gently, what happened next? Daniel sighed. I pressed him. I said, Jason, you've been my best friend since we were kids. Something's wrong, tell me now. Please. And that's when he looked at me with this pity. The kind of look you never want to see from someone you trust. Then he handed me his phone. He rubbed his temples. There they were. Messages. Dozens of them. Between Emma and some man I had never seen before. At first I couldn't even process it. I thought it had to be a mistake, some sick joke. But the words, the pictures, there was no denying it. She called him things she used to call me. He talked about a future, with him. Not me. His hands clenched into fists. I kept reading, hoping I'd find something to prove it was fake. But then I saw it. The message that shattered me. I'll see you tonight, love. Tomorrow I marry Daniel, but you know my heart is yours. He choked on the memory. Dear Maya, she wasn't just cheating. She was with him the night before our wedding. The night before she was supposed to vow her life to me. I leaned forward, my voice steady. And what did you do, Daniel? He swallowed hard. I grabbed my keys. Jason tried to stop me, but I couldn't sit still. I needed to see it with my own eyes. I needed to know if it was real. He stared at the floor. Driving to that hotel felt like the longest drive of my life. My hands were sweating on the wheel, my chest felt like it was caving in. I kept praying it was a lie. I kept telling myself, she loves me. She wouldn't do this. But deep down I already knew. Daniel's voice dropped lower, almost to a whisper, as if speaking the memory out loud still cut him open. I parked outside the hotel, he said, staring at the floor. My heart was racing so fast I thought I was going to pass out. I sat there for a minute, telling myself not to go in. Telling myself it would ruin everything if I was wrong. But then, I saw her car. Emma's car. Right there in the lot. He pressed his palms together, trembling. That's when I knew. I just knew. I asked softly, and what did you do next, Daniel? His lips quivered. I walked inside. I didn't even think. My body was moving on its own. I went straight to the elevator, up to the floor Jason told me. And when I turned the corner, there she was. Emma. Standing outside the hotel room door, kissing him goodbye. His voice cracked. It wasn't some drunken mistake. It wasn't some slip-up. She was in love with him, Maya. I could see it in the way she looked at him, the way she used to look at me. Daniel's fists clenched. When she saw me, her face went pale. She didn't even try to deny it. She just froze. And then she said the words that will haunt me forever. Daniel, please let me explain. I asked him, and what did she explain? He let out a bitter laugh. That it wasn't just one night. That she'd been seeing him for months. That while I was working overtime to pay for our wedding, she was sneaking off to be with him. She told me she still loved me, but that he could give her the life she deserved. A life I couldn't provide. His voice shook with rage. 7 years, Maya. 7 years of building a future together. And she threw it away for money. For status. For some man she barely knew. He looked up at me, his eyes filled with pain. Do you know what's worse? He was still planning to marry me. She admitted it. She said she didn't want to hurt me or cancel everything at the last minute. Her plan was to go through with the wedding and keep seeing him in secret. I was supposed to be her husband, and her backup plan. The room went quiet. Even I, after years of hearing confessions like this, felt the sharp sting of betrayal in Daniel's words. That night, he whispered, I didn't just lose my fiancé. I lost my best friend. My partner. My future. Everything we had, gone. Daniel's breathing grew heavier as he recalled the moment everything collapsed. I don't even remember walking out of that hotel, he admitted. 1 second I was staring at her, and the next I was in my car screaming into the steering wheel. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to accept that the woman I was about to marry had just confessed to betraying me for months. He shook his head slowly. But reality doesn't wait for you to be ready. The next morning I woke up and knew what I had to do. I couldn't go through with it. I couldn't marry someone who had already chosen someone else. His voice hardened. So I called it off. Hours before the ceremony. I leaned in gently. And how did Emma react? Daniel let out a bitter laugh. She cried. Begged me not to ruin it. Said it was just a mistake. Even though she had just told me the night before it wasn't. She said we could still be happy. That we could work through it. But her words felt empty. I could see it in her eyes. She wasn't crying for me. She was crying because her plan had fallen apart. His jaw tightened. But then came the real twist, Dr. Maya. It wasn't just her. Her parents got involved. They pulled me aside, tried to convince me to forgive her. And that's when her father said it. Words I'll never forget. Daniel, you're a good man, but you'll never be able to provide for Emma the way she deserves. That's why we encouraged her to keep her options open. He slammed his hand against the arm of the chair. Can you believe that? They knew. Her own family knew she was seeing him. They didn't stop her. They pushed her into it. And all while smiling at me, shaking my hand, calling me son. He looked up at me, his eyes hollow. That's when it hit me, Maya. I wasn't just betrayed by Emma. I was betrayed by an entire family. For 7 years they pretended. They acted like I was good enough, like I was one of them. But behind the scenes they were waiting for someone richer to come along. I wasn't their son-in-law. I was their placeholder. Silence hung in the room, thick and heavy. When I announced the wedding was off, chaos broke out. Her family tried to contain it. My family was devastated. Guests were furious. Some had flown across the country. But none of it mattered. The truth was out, and I wasn't going to stand there and promise my life to someone who had already broken every promise to me. Daniel's voice cracked one last time. It felt like my entire world ended that day. And in a way it did. Daniel leaned back in the chair, his shoulders heavy with the weight of everything he had just relived. After I called off the wedding, he said softly, I disappeared. I couldn't face anyone. I couldn't face the guests, the questions, the pitying looks. I went home, locked the door, and shut the world out for weeks. His eyes glistened with old pain. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I kept replaying every moment of our relationship in my head, wondering what was real and what was a lie. Was she ever mine? Or was I just a safety net until something better came along? He took a long, shaky breath. I hated her. I hated myself. I hated the fact that 7 years of love could be erased overnight. And yet, there were nights I still missed her. Nights when I almost called her just to hear her voice. That's the cruelest part of betrayal, Dr. Maya. It breaks you, but it doesn't switch off your love like a light. It lingers. It poisons you slowly. I let him sit with that silence. Sometimes the rawest truths come from pauses. Then Daniel's jaw tightened. But life has a way of adding insult to injury. Months later, after I had finally started piecing myself back together, she came back. Emma. Standing at my door, crying, begging. His fists clenched. Turns out, the man she left me for? He left her. The rich, perfect guy who was supposed to give her the life she wanted, he got bored. He wasn't looking for forever. He just wanted a fling. And when he was done, he threw her away. Daniel's voice shook with rage. She told me she made a mistake. That she realized too late that I was the only man who ever truly loved her. She begged me to forgive her. Said she wanted to start over. He leaned forward, his voice firm. But I wasn't the same man anymore. The Daniel who would have forgiven her. He died the night before our wedding. I looked her in the eyes and said, You didn't just betray me. You destroyed me. And I'll never let you do it again. Then I closed the door. And this time it stayed closed. The room fell silent. I nodded slowly. Daniel, you may have lost Emma, but you gained something greater. The truth. And as painful as it was, it set you free. He wiped his face with both hands. Sometimes I wonder, Maya. Was it love she ever felt for me? Or was I just a stepping stone to something better? I guess I'll never know. I leaned in, my voice steady but warm. Maybe the lesson isn't about what she felt, Daniel. Maybe it's about what you deserve. And you deserve someone who chooses you every single day, not just until someone richer comes along. He nodded faintly, tears glistening in his eyes. And as the session came to a close, I turned to you, the listener. Stories like Daniel's remind us that betrayal often hides in plain sight. It's a wound that takes time to heal, but it also shows us our worth. If you've ever faced heartbreak, know this. You are not defined by the ones who broke you, but by the strength you find after. Thank you for listening. If Daniel's story moved you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. I'm Dr. Maya, and I'll see you in the next story.